Could your pantry survive the next big economic collapse? Imagine if the grocery store shelves went empty tomorrow. How long would the food in your home really last? Some of the best foods to stockpile are the very same ones that helped our ancestors survive one of the most challenging periods in history, the Great Depression. These aren't fancy or hard-to-find items. They're simple, affordable, and incredibly resilient. With food prices rising and shortages becoming more common, it's more important than ever to have a reliable stockpile. The best part? Many of the foods we'll talk about today can last forever if stored properly. We're talking about items that could be the difference between having enough food during a crisis or going without. Today we'll be counting down 15 Great Depression foods you can start stockpiling that, with the right care, will never expire. These foods helped entire families survive when times were tough, and they can do the same for you now. Let's dive in. Let's kick things off with a survival classic, Hardtack. This simple biscuit, made from just flour and water, became a staple for soldiers and families alike during hard times. Hardtack is almost indestructible. When baked until it's bone dry, it can last for years, some say even decades if kept sealed and moisture-free. It's not meant to be eaten straight out of storage. Most would soften it by dipping it in water or soup. But in the toughest moments of the Great Depression, hardtack was a lifesaver. Its simplicity is its strength, making it one of the most reliable items to stockpile for long-term food security. Keep it stored in an airtight container, away from humidity, and you could have a nearly endless supply of emergency food on hand. Now let's talk about dried beans. Known for their incredible nutritional value, beans were essential during the Great Depression because they offered an affordable, long-lasting source of protein and fiber. Properly stored, meaning in a cool, dry place, sealed from air and pests, dried beans can last indefinitely. They were a go-to for families who had to make meals stretch, often served in soups or stews. For many, beans were the heart of the meal, sometimes the only source of protein they could afford. When food was scarce, a pot of beans could feed an entire family for days. And here's a tip. Store your beans in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, and you'll dramatically increase their shelf life. Next, we have white rice, an absolute powerhouse when it comes to stockpiling. During the Great Depression, rice was one of the most budget-friendly staples that families relied on. It's filling, versatile, and most importantly, if stored correctly, it can last 30 years or more. The key to its longevity is keeping it dry and well sealed. White rice can be stored in large quantities, and it can be used as the base for countless meals, stretching whatever other ingredients you have on hand. Whether paired with beans or used in soups and casseroles, rice was a staple in Depression-era homes, and it remains one of the smartest foods you can stockpile today. To maximize its shelf life, store it in food-grade buckets or Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. This will protect it from moisture and pests for decades. Up next is cornmeal, a truly versatile ingredient that played a major role during the Great Depression. Cornmeal was used in a variety of ways. From cornbread to grits, it helped families stretch their food supplies. One of the biggest advantages of cornmeal is its ability to last for years when stored properly. To keep cornmeal fresh, make sure it's in an airtight container, preferably in a cool, dark pantry, or better yet, in the freezer for long-term storage. If moisture or pests are kept at bay, it can last anywhere from 1 to 2 years in the pantry or much longer if frozen. Cornmeal's ability to be transformed into hearty, filling dishes made it invaluable during tough times. A batch of cornbread could feed an entire family on very little, which is why it remains a smart choice for stockpiling today. These time-tested foods from the Depression era are more relevant than ever. As we face rising food prices and potential shortages, understanding and utilizing these durable, long-lasting staples can provide a vital safety net for our families. The principles of stocking up on resilient foods can help ensure that we are prepared for any future uncertainties. If you want to delve deeper into these strategies and discover even more lost superfoods and ancient preservation techniques, be sure to check out the book linked below. It's a treasure trove of knowledge from generations past, offering insights into how people survived through wars and economic crises. This book is perfect for anyone looking to fortify their pantry with time-tested, reliable foods. Now, Let's talk about one of the most remarkable foods you can store: honey. Honey is truly nature's perfect sweetener. Unlike most foods, honey never goes bad. Archaeologists have even discovered honey in ancient tombs that's still perfectly edible after thousands of years. Its natural antibacterial properties prevent spoilage, making it an incredibly valuable item during the Great Depression, when nothing could afford to go to waste. Honey could be used not only as a sweetener, but also as a remedy for wounds or sore throats. If it crystallizes over time, don't worry. Just gently warm it up, and it'll return to its liquid form. When stored in a sealed container, honey will last forever, making it one of the best long-term stockpile items you can have in your pantry. Oats are another affordable and filling staple that helped countless families get through the Great Depression. Whether they were used for a simple breakfast porridge or added to stretch out other meals like meatloaf or stews, oats provided bulk and nutrition when resources were scarce. They're rich in fiber, helping to keep people fuller for longer, which made them a go-to for those looking to get the most out of their limited supplies. When stored in a cool, dry place, oats can last up to 2 years. But if you're serious about long-term storage, consider using Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. This can extend their shelf life significantly, sometimes up to 10 years or more. Oats are a great item to stockpile because of their versatility and nutritional value, making them a cornerstone of any well-prepared pantry. Salt is one of the most essential items to keep in your stockpile. It's been used for centuries as a preservative, and during the Great Depression, it played a vital role in food preservation when refrigeration was limited. Salt helps draw out moisture and prevents the growth of bacteria, making it critical for curing meats and pickling vegetables. The best thing about salt is that it never expires. As long as you store it in a dry, airtight container, it will last indefinitely. Beyond preserving food, salt enhances flavor and is a necessity for any well-prepared pantry. Whether you're preparing for the next economic downturn or simply ensuring long-term food security, salt is an item you can't afford to overlook. Pemmican is an ancient superfood with a remarkable shelf life. Originally created by Native Americans, it's made from a combination of dried meat, rendered fat, and sometimes berries. During the Great Depression, families used pemmican for its high nutritional value and long-term storage potential. If prepared and stored properly, it can last for years, even decades. Pemmican is packed with protein and fat, making it ideal for providing energy during tough times. Because it doesn't require refrigeration and takes up little space, pemmican is perfect for stockpiling. Whether you make it yourself or purchase it, pemmican remains one of the most resilient and nutritious foods for any survival situation. Dried pasta was a Depression-era staple for good reason. It's cheap, filling, and easy to store, making it a practical choice for stretching meals when resources are scarce. If stored in a cool, dry place, dried pasta can last up to 2 years. But with proper long-term storage methods like Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers, it can last much longer, up to a decade or more. It's incredibly versatile, too, which is why it was so popular during the Great Depression. From simple soups to hearty casseroles, pasta can be used in countless dishes. Stockpiling dried pasta ensures you have a reliable, filling food source that requires minimal effort to prepare, making it an essential part of any emergency food plan. Vinegar is one of those multi-purpose items that was a staple in Depression-era kitchens, and for good reason. Its primary use was for pickling and preserving foods, allowing families to extend the life of vegetables and other perishables. Vinegar itself has an indefinite shelf life if stored properly. It's acidic enough to prevent spoilage, meaning you can store it for years without worrying about it going bad. In addition to its use in food preservation, vinegar can also be used for cleaning, making it an incredibly versatile and practical item to have on hand. Whether you're preparing for tough times or just building up your long-term pantry, vinegar is a must-have. Canned meats like Spam and tuna were lifesavers during the Great Depression, when fresh meat was hard to come by. These products are still popular for stockpiling today due to their long shelf life. Canned meats can last for decades if stored in a cool, dry place, providing a reliable source of protein when other options are scarce. During the Depression, families would often turn to canned meats as a way to get the essential nutrients they needed without breaking the bank. They're also extremely versatile. You can use them in sandwiches, casseroles, or simply add them to pasta or rice to create a complete meal. Stocking up on canned meats ensures you'll have a protein source that requires no refrigeration and can last for years. Bouillon cubes might seem small, but they played a big role in helping families stretch their food supplies during tough times. Lightweight, compact, and incredibly long-lasting, these little cubes of concentrated flavor were often used to add depth to soups, stews, or even plain rice. Bouillon cubes last for years if stored properly, and they take up very little space, making them a perfect addition to any stockpile. During the Great Depression, adding a bouillon cube to a pot of water and whatever vegetables or scraps were available could turn an otherwise bland meal into something more filling and flavorful. Keeping bouillon cubes on hand can help you make the most out of your stockpile, ensuring even the simplest meals taste better. Powdered milk became a crucial substitute during the Great Depression, when fresh milk was often too expensive or unavailable. While fresh milk spoiled quickly, powdered milk had the advantage of a much longer shelf life, typically up to 2 years or more if stored in a cool, dry place. It provided essential nutrients like calcium and protein, making it an important addition to family meals. Powdered milk could be rehydrated for drinking or used in baking and cooking, ensuring families still got the nutritional benefits of milk without the risk of spoilage. It's a smart item to stockpile because of its versatility and durability, especially for those looking to prepare for times when fresh dairy might not be available. Lard and tallow were essential in Depression-era kitchens, and they remain valuable for long-term storage today. These animal fats were used for cooking, frying, and even preserving food. When stored properly in airtight containers away from heat and light, both lard and tallow can last for years. They were a common staple because they were affordable and could be used to prepare almost any meal, from frying potatoes to baking bread. Beyond cooking, lard and tallow were sometimes used to preserve meats, extending their shelf life in a time when refrigeration was rare. Their high calorie content also made them important for keeping people energized during hard times. For anyone looking to build a reliable pantry, lard or tallow is an excellent addition. Molasses is another timeless food that was often used as a sweetener during the Great Depression. It's rich in iron, calcium, and other nutrients, providing a valuable source of energy when food supplies were limited. One of the biggest advantages of molasses is that it never goes bad, thanks to its low water content and high sugar concentration. Depression-era families often used it in baking, cooking, or simply as a spread on bread to add much-needed calories to their meals. Molasses was a cheaper alternative to refined sugar, and its long shelf life made it an ideal item for stockpiling. Whether you use it for baking or as a natural sweetener, molasses is a nutrient-rich, long-lasting food worth keeping in your pantry. These 15 foods offered just a glimpse into the time-tested wisdom that got families through the Great Depression. But if you want to take your preparedness to the next level, there's a resource you won't want to miss. Check out the book linked below. It dives deep into ancient methods used by those who lived through wars and economic collapses. This book is packed with superfoods and preservation techniques that have been lost to time. If you're serious about learning all the secrets of ancient food preservation and securing your pantry, make sure to check out the link to the book in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Frugal Solutions for more practical tips on staying prepared and saving money.